Namaskar dosto, welcome back to VNP networking tutorials. In today's video, we are going to understand BGP route reflectors, one of the most important concepts used to solve the iBGP full mesh scalability problems. We will understand what is route reflector, why route reflectors are required in a BGP network, what is a route reflector client, what is a route reflector non-client, how routes are propagated by a route reflector, the difference between routes learned from clients and non-clients, how eBGP learned routes are handled, and finally we will look at the actual Cisco configuration for the route reflector. So let's start from the basics. What is route reflection or a route reflector? A route reflector is a special iBGP router that can receive routes from one iBGP pair and advertise those routes to other iBGP pairs. Normally, iBGP has an important rule. A route learned from one iBGP pair is not advertised to another iBGP pair. Because of this rule, routers inside the same autonomous system normally need an iBGP full mesh. For example, if we have 5 iBGP routers R1, R2, R3, R4 and R5, each router needs an iBGP session with every other router. This works for a small network, but it becomes difficult when the number of routers increases. A route reflector solves this problem. Instead of creating an iBGP session between every router, we designate one or more routers as a route reflectors. Other routers establish their iBGP session with the route reflector. The route reflector receives a route from one client and can then reflect that route to other appropriate iBGP pairs. So, in simple terms, the route reflector acts as a central route distributor inside the AS. The routers connected to the route reflector are called route reflector clients. This significantly reduces the number of iBGP sessions and improves scalability. Full mesh versus route reflection. Let's compare the two designs. On the left side, we have iBGP without route reflection. Here, every router must establish an iBGP session with every other router. So, to calculate the number of iBGP pairs or sessions required, we have the formula n into n-1 by 2. For example, if you have 5 routers in your network and you need to form iBGP, a full mesh between them, so the formula is 5 into 4 by 2. So we have total 10 iBGP sessions required when you have n equal to 5. N is the number of routers we have in the network that needs iBGP topology. And if you have 100 routers, so your calculation comes to 100 multiplied by 99 divided by 2, which is equal to 4950 iBGP sessions. As the number of routers increases, iBGP full mesh becomes impractical due to the huge number of sessions required. Now look at the topology at the right hand side. With route reflection, the clients establish sessions with route reflector. In this topology, we have 5 routers and a central route reflector which is represented as RR. Here you can see that we only need one iBGP session with the route reflector. For example, R1 is having only one session as compared to the left side topology for the full mesh. In the full mesh left side, you can see that R1 was having 4 iBGP sessions. But with route reflection, R1 is using only 1 iBGP session with the RR. The important point is that we no longer need every client to establish an iBGP session with every other client. That's the main scalability benefit of route reflection. Route reflector components. Now let's understand the two important components. The first component is the route reflector itself. A route reflector is simply an iBGP router that has been configured to reflect routes between its iBGP peers. In our lab topology, R2 is the route reflector. The second component is the route reflector client. A route reflector client is an iBGP router that establishes an iBGP session with route reflector. In our topology, R1 and R3 both are route reflector clients. So we have R1 as a route reflector client, R2 as a route reflector, and R3 as a route reflector client. R1 has an iBGP session with R2. R3 is also having an iBGP session with R2. R1 and R3 doesn't need a direct iBGP session with each other when route reflection is being used. Now look at the BGP configuration on R2, which is a route reflector client. You can see that we are running a BGP with AS number 65000 on R2, and we have a neighbor command. For example, for R1 router, we have 10.1.1.1 and the remote AS is also 65000 because it's an iBGP. The next very important command is a neighbor 10.1.1 route reflector client. So this command is very important. On R2, we are informing R2 that R1 is a route reflector client. And similarly, you can see for R3, we have the neighbor 10.1.2.1 and the remote AS number is 65000. And the next command is a neighbor IP and route reflector client. So this command route reflector client is very important to inform R2 or to inform the route reflector that which iBGP peers are the client for the route reflector. Now let's introduce another important concept, route reflector client versus non-client. In this topology, R1 and R2 both are route reflector clients. R2 is the route reflector and R4 is another iBGP pair which is a non-client. The important point is that an route reflector can have both. It can have route reflector clients. It can also have non-clients. Non-client means normal iBGP peers which are not having that route reflector client command. A client is configured using route reflector client command for the neighbor statement. A non-client is simply a normal iBGP neighbor and does not have that command. So if you look at the BGP configuration for R2, you can see that we are having the BGP AS number is 65000 and we are having the neighbor statement command for R1, and we can see that for neighbor 10.1.1.1 we have the route reflector client. The command is present. That means R1 is a route reflector client for R2. Similarly, you will see that for R3, the remote peer is 10.1.2.1 and the remote AS is 65000. Plus, you can see neighbor 10.1.2.1 and a route reflector client command. So R1 and R3 both are having that command, okay, on the R2 for route reflector. But if you look carefully for R4, you will see that you just have a neighbor command, neighbor 10.1.3.1 and the remote AS is 65000. Okay, you don't see any configuration for route reflector client. So this means R4 is a non-client, okay, because it is not having that configuration statement route reflector client. Now we come to the most important part of the route reflection. How does the route reflector decide where to send the routes? So let's understand this with the topology as shown on the screen. We have 5 routers. Router R1 is an eBGP peer in the AS number 65001. R2 is the route reflector in the AS 65000. R3 and R4, these green routers, those are iBGP client, and router R5, which is shown in orange, is a non-client iBGP peer for R2. Let's start with the route learned from the router R3, which is acting as a client peer for route reflector. In this diagram, the router R3 is the client and it is the source of the route. Let's assume the client advertises a route to the route reflector, which is router R2. The route reflector receives that route through iBGP. For example, suppose the router R3, which is a client, advertises the network 10.1.1.0/24 to the route reflector. The route reflector can then advertise that route to other route reflector clients in this topology, which is router R4, non-clients, which is router R5, and eBGP peers, which is router R1. So the key rule here is routes learned from a client can be advertised to eBGP peers, other clients, and other non-clients. This is one of the most important route reflector rule to remember. Now let's take another example where the route is learned from a non-client peer. So let's understand the topology. R1 is a router with eBGP peer and it's in the AS number 65001. R2 is our route reflector in the AS 65000. R4 is a non-client peer and hosting a network 10.1.1.0/24. R3 is another non-client peer and we have R5, which is a client peer. So here the source is R4. R4 is publishing a network 10.1.1.0 to the route reflector. Now, since the route is learned from non-client peer, the rule says that routes learned from non-client peer can be sent to eBGP peers, client peers, but not other non-clients. So routes learned from R4 to R2. So R2 as a route reflector, it can forward to eBGP peer, which is R1. It can forward to client peer, which is R5, but it cannot forward this to other non-client peer, which is router R3. Now let's take the third scenario where the route is learned from eBGP peer from different autonomous system. If we look at the topology carefully, R1 router is in autonomous system 65001. It has eBGP peer with R3. So here the rule says that routes learned from an eBGP peer can be sent to other eBGP peers, clients, and non-clients. So in this case, the subnet 10.1.1.0/24 advertised from R1 and learned by R3. R3 is the route reflector, which is in the AS number 65000. So as per the rule, R3 can send this to other eBGP peer. Now R3 is having an eBGP peer, another eBGP peer with router R2. R2 is in the AS number 65002, which is eBGP for R3 route reflector. R3 is having a client peer which is router R4. So this subnet can also be advertised to the client peer, and this subnet can also be advertised to non-client. R5 is a non-client peer. Okay, R5 is a non-client. So as per the rule, any route received from eBGP peer can be sent to other eBGP peers, clients and non-clients. Finally, let's summarize everything in one table. For a route learned from eBGP peer, it can be sent to other eBGP peers, clients and non-clients. There is no destination restriction shown here. For a route learned from a client peer, it can be sent to eBGP peers, other client peers and non-client peers. Again, the route reflector can distribute the route to all these appropriate peers without any issue. For a route learned from non-client peer, it can be sent to only eBGP peers and client peers, but it cannot be sent to other non-client peers. This is the key restriction. So in this video, we have learned the basic concepts of route reflector, the route reflector client, non-client and BGP peer. In the next video, I will come up with the GNS lab for route reflector. I hope this video was informative. Thank you for your time and see you in the next lecture.